पीछे लोग खड़े हैं, उनसे भी कह दो कहीं बैठ जाए। ठीक। I bow to all the seekers of truth. At the very outset, I have to tell you that truth is what it is. You cannot change it, you cannot transform it, and unfortunately, at this human awareness, you cannot know it. In the evolutionary process, you have come to a state of human awareness. But at this point, you do not know the absolute truth. If you had known the absolute truth, there would have been no quarrels, no fights, no wars. Because everybody would have known it. Now whatever I am going to tell you here today, please do not take for granted. We have had enough problems with blind faiths. So whatever I am telling you, you should have an open mind like a scientist. And treat it, my lecture, as a hypothesis. If it proves, then you have to accept it as honest people. Because it is for your benevolence, it is for the benevolence of your family, it is for the benevolence of your cities, benevolence of your country, and for the benevolence of the whole world. We have to understand that we have problems because we try to rationalize everything with our mental capacity. Everybody has a different style of rationalizing. But if you can go somehow beyond this mind, then you can see the reality. You have been told about this instrument that is within. It is all created during our creation. One by one, we went through it during our evolutionary process. It's beautifully done. And there is a power has been shown there, which all of you have, whether you are Hindu, Muslim, Christian, anybody. This is the power which has to give you your second birth. So what is the truth? The first truth is that you are not this body, this mind, this intelligence, emotions, your ego or your conditions. But you are the pure spirit. You are beyond this. So you have to become the spirit. The another truth is, when we see these flowers so beautiful, very beautiful they are, then we do not think even that it's a miracle to have these different flowers with different colors, hues, and different fragrance. Who does this work? Who runs your heart? If you ask a doctor, he will say it is autonomous nervous system. But who is this auto? That is the self, that is the spirit. While we talk like my hand, my body, my head, my emotions, my intellect, but who is the owner of this my? Is your spirit. There is such a seeking in modern times. I am really surprised because all these modern lifestyle has given us a kind of illusions. We live with illusions, and once we discover these illusions, we get very frustrated. In Sanskrit it is called as Bhranti. It's not only that Indian saints have talked about this, also Tao of Lao Tse. Chinese know about it, but they just don't know what to do. For Japanese, there was Zen, who has also said the same thing. I am not saying something new to you. This work of giving awakening to this Kundalini was just like a seed. You put it in the Mother Earth, it sprouts. How? Because the seed has built-in capacity to sprout, and the Mother Earth also has built-in capacity to sprout. So it is spontaneous. Sahaj means born with you. Saha is with, Ja is born. Also it means simple. Is born with you, spontaneous, happening that should take place is your birthright as seekers. Of course, you cannot force on people. You have to have a desire to get this higher awareness. This Kundalini is your mother. She is your individual mother. And she knows everything about your past, about your aspirations, everything she knows. Like a tape recorder, she has taped your life. Of many lives are there. And she is anxious to give you your second birth. Very anxious. And now when you are seeking the truth, she works it spontaneously. It's a living process. Like we put the seed in the Mother Earth and it works. We don't pay any money to the Mother Earth for that, do we? So first thing we should know, you cannot pay for this. It's your birthright to get it, and you will get it tonight. So I have to tell you also about people who have commercialized, because they know there are people who are seeking. They are commercialized and they are trying all kinds of tricks, which is absolutely absurd. As a mother, I have to tell you the truth. For example, I went to Chicago and there was the head of the Hare Rama. He was wearing a dhoti in that cold, severe cold, and he had shaved his head. I asked him, why are you wearing dhoti in this cold? What is the need? He said, my guru has told me, if you wear a dhoti, you will get your nirvana. I said, really? In our country, India, at least 80% people wear dhotis. If they get nirvana, then where will you be? Then I said, why you shaved your head? So he said, I've shaved it. Because again my guru has said, you have to shave if you have to take nirvana. On this, Kabira, a great poet, has said, that by shaving your head, if you can go to heaven, what about the sheep which is shaved every year twice? All such things, you see, you go to Himalayas, you stand on one foot or die there. They started also something called Sambala, that you go in the Gobi desert when you get nirvana. In any case, if you go in the desert, you will die. What is that? Then there are people who are now saying that you can fly at 3 feet height, imagine. What is the need to fly at 3 feet height? I can't understand. As it is in this Kuala Lumpur, there are so many cars that it's very difficult to go even for a small distance, you know. And if you have these people going about at 3 feet, what will happen? Then is another one who gives diamonds, this, that. Now he's exposed, thank God, because he used to mesmerize people. Another one is now teaching people how to move pendulum, and he's made lots of money. I was in Washington, they came and said, Mani, we have lost, mother, all our money, what to do? I said, for what? For this moving pendulum. Have you come on this earth to move pendulum? Is that the value of your life? That you lost all your money, everything. So here the seekers are earnest and they are trying to seek. Here is a market of these people who are commercializing. And we start following them because I think they are stupid, that's all. The greatest number of stupid people I have found in America. Really idiotic. They take to all kinds of nonsense. And they accept it. They are supposed to be very developed. I think they have no wisdom at all. And then they come to me crying, Mother, this has happened. I said, but why did you do it? So one has to understand that something has to happen to your awareness. It's not just, I believe in this, I believe in that. No. You have to believe in yourself. And you have to know everything about yourself. This is very important, that we should understand our own value. Otherwise, anybody can exploit you, because now you have money, you have cars. They see this, they want all that. So money has nothing to do with spirituality. God doesn't understand money. He doesn't understand banking and all that. See, that is your headache. You have created money. All right. So now, when this Kundalini rises, what happens? First thing is that she nourishes all these centers. And these subtle centers are for your physical, mental, emotional and spiritual being. Complete benevolence. But when they go into jeopardy, then you create problems. It helps physically very much. In India, there are 4 doctors from university who have done their MBBS, have got their MD in surgery, MD in surgery, for curing some incurable diseases. But people get cured just like that. And I was amazed that in Russia, people are 65% extremely spiritual. They are not materialistic. They don't want material things. They are not. Their government said, all right, you take your flats and look after them. You take your houses, look after them. They said, no, we don't want. You better look after. Why should we possess a headache? 65%. And they understand spirituality very well, very well. All the developing countries in India, like India and others are, we are now trying to make money. All right. Not that you should not make. But also you must have a balance. You must know the bad effects of money. See, America is what? 65% people they say will become schizophrenic, means half mad. In India we don't have half mads, we have either full or no. But in America you have. They are alright, suddenly they become mad. Then again they are alright, suddenly they become mad. All funny diseases. Then they have AIDS and all sorts of diseases there. So one has to understand that this kind of progress, imbalanced, has not brought any happiness to people. There are more diseases now than there were ever before. So it is important for us to see, supposing somebody goes and falls into a ditch. So we should see, he's fallen into a ditch now, what should we do? How to protect ourselves? So with this happening, physical being gets completely corrected. Many incurable diseases, blood cancer, all kinds of diseases are cured with this. But in getting cured, you also get other things. That is complete mental peace you get. Many mental cases have been cured, many mental cases. Some of them were also people, children, who were suffering from handicapped hands, or say also some were mentally handicapped. All these could be cured. Not that all will be cured, but all these problems can be cured in a person. With your own power, you are the doctor. You are not to pay for it. It's your own power that will cure. If people don't believe it, because they have no faith in themselves. But it's a fact, I'm telling you, that it works. Now, when this Kundalini rises, what another thing she does is that she gives you complete peace of mind. How it happens, like you are standing in the water, you are afraid that you will be drowned with the waves. But supposing if you get into the boat, then you don't mind looking at those waves and enjoying them. But supposing you know how to swim, then you can just jump down and save people. This is exactly what happens in Sahaja. We are all the time thinking about the future and the past. We cannot be in the present. So we are jumping on the cusp of these thoughts which rise, fall, rise, fall, rise, fall. We are jumping like that. In between them there's a little space, a pause, where there is peace. When you are in the present. Future is over, it doesn't exist, and past has no, we don't know. But we are all the time jumping with these thoughts. So when the Kundalini rises, she elongates these thoughts, elongates. And by elongating these thoughts, she creates peace. And we become absolutely peaceful. Then we become the witness. The whole thing looks like a drama. You are out of your problems so you can solve them. And with this peace, you become very dynamic but very peaceful. Now my age, as you know, all of you, 72 years of age, I am traveling every day. Practically third day, fourth day, I am out. But I am peaceful. I never think I am traveling. I think if I am sitting here on a sofa, there also I am sitting. So this thinking stops and you become thoughtlessly aware. In Sanskrit it is called as Nirvichara Samadhi, where there is no thought. But you are absolutely aware, very aware. Your memory improves, you see something, I am seeing these flowers, now it's all within me. The joy that is within these flowers starts trickling down. Now supposing this carpet is beautiful, I look at this carpet. Thank God it's not mine, otherwise I would have had a headache to insure it, to worry about it. So I look at it, and the joy that is put inside this by the artist in a subtle way starts pouring down me. I become absolutely filled with joy of this creation. So you become thoughtlessly aware, and then the real inspirations come to you. And you are dynamic at the same time. Your attention now becomes enlightened by the Spirit. If the attention is enlightened, then what happens? This attention works. Sitting down here, you can find out about anyone you want to. On your central nervous system, you can feel it, the center of that person. You know the chakras which are catching, and you know what's wrong with that person, what's going to happen. If you know how to correct yourself, your own chakras, you can correct the chakras of others. So then, you also put them into proper shape, and life becomes very beautiful. Your attitude towards life changes, towards your relationships, towards your society, and then you start understanding what wrong we have been doing. It's like this. Supposing I have a snake in my hand. It's all darkness here, and I'm very obstinate. And you tell me that you have a snake in your hand. I will say, no, it is not. It is a rope. Till the snake bites me, I'll be holding on to it. But supposing there is little light, immediately I'll throw away. In the same way, you give up all destructive habits. Overnight, people have given drugs. Very surprising. Because you have the light. And this light makes you wise. You get your wisdom. Then also, we go to one extreme to another extreme. Like you can see, the Western culture is such that this abandonment, you don't have to worry about anything, go ahead, live like a very licentious, permissive person. It is allowed. It's freedom. The other religions are very strict. You can't do this, you can't do this and that. These are two extremes. But with this you come in balance. You actually become religious. You become righteous. You don't do wrong things. You just don't do it. Because there is light. This is enlightenment. You know about saints, how they lived. They were married, they had children. But what was their life? That's what exactly happens to you, that you become extremely wise and enlightened. It is that on your central nervous system, when this Kundalini rises and pierces through, she connects you to the main. Like this instrument had to be connected to the mains, otherwise it had no meaning, no identity. In the same way, you get connected to that all-pervading vital power. And then you start feeling the vibrations on your hand of like a cool breeze. When it happens to you, you can ask any question, like a computer. You ask any question, the answer comes to you on your fingertips. So to know the truth on your central nervous system, like we are human beings, all right? We know so many things. But say there's a dog or a horse, if you want to take him through a dirty lane, he'll go away. He won't think about it. But we can't go because our awareness is much higher. But with this, we don't do anything wrong. Just don't do it. Because our awareness becomes much higher. Then comes that in this enlightenment, you see everything on your fingertips. You know everything on your central nervous system. This is what has to happen, which is called as, in Sanskrit, bodh. Bodh or Ved, from where Veda means from where the Ved word has come, and from bodh Buddha has come. So it is not just a mental idea. It is not just somebody's thoughts that you are carrying. No. It is something that happens to you. Actually, that you can feel it on your central nervous system. This is what is Sahaj Yoga, means spontaneous union with the divine power. Now this divine power of love is, for your information, okay? This one. I don't want this one. So this divine power is the ocean of knowledge, of absolute knowledge. Is the ocean of compassion and love. It is the ocean of miracles. Not this kind of gifting a diamond and all that. But so many miracles take place, which are very different. And people are writing books on this. I said, I don't write to me. You can write it yourself, because so many things, small and big, they tell us. So, in short, you enter into the kingdom of God. Now, this kingdom of God is very efficient, very alert. And how it helps you, you will be surprised in every day-to-day work, in your business, in everything. And the attention is so alert that there are so many artists who have suddenly become well-known. You must have heard about Amjad Ali, Sifat Hussain Khan, so many in India, Debu Chaudhary. All these were ordinary artists, have suddenly become very great. In Australia we have some painters who are now world famous. Because your attention becomes very clean and pure, no more confusions. Confusions of modern times just disappear. And you start creating beautiful art which is appreciated. It's not grotesque, vulgar, but people appreciate and you get a name for that. I have seen people who are doing ordinary business have become big businessmen. But they are very humble. They don't take to bad things. Otherwise, normally, you give somebody $100, immediately he'll go to the pub. Immediately. But then, such a person who is enlightened has to do every day-to-day mundane work. And his attention is absolutely pure. Also, you will be surprised in this attention your relationships with everybody improves. You can see a person how he is. You don't have to give up your family, you don't have to give up anything. Also, you don't have to fast for God. Why should you fast? You can fast for your health, but not for God. He is Father, most loving Father. He is Father of all the fathers. And which father would like his son to fast because the son wants to meet him? Absurd things. You fast and give all the money to the Brahmins or to the priests. It's all nonsense. There's nothing of this kind which is divine. Divine is love. And love of a kind that makes you really enjoy a detached love. Now the detached love is like this, that like a sap in the tree rises. It goes to various places and gives nourishment to different things. And ultimately it evaporates or it goes back to Mother Earth. It does not stick to something. Supposing it sticks to something like a fruit or a flower, the whole tree will die and the fruit and flower will also die. So we get stuck, you see. For my children, for my sons, for my this. This is what people do. For corruption, what do they do? What's the use? Whatever you have to do it, you should do it for everything. It is a category of people very selfish. They just don't do for anybody else. Something better will do for their relations. Something better will do for their communities. But in Sahaja Yoga, we work for the global peace. Another point which is very important to understand, that we respect all the religions equally the same. All religions came on this earth as flowers of spirituality, all of them. But then people plucked it. This is my religion, this is my religion. And now they are fighting with a dead religion. Why should you fight in the name of God? Simple question. All over the world they are fighting in the name of God. It's very shameful. But once you become one with the divine, you become a one living organism like that. We have seminars everywhere. Even in India we have seminars. We get people from 65 nations, and I have not seen anybody fighting or anybody saying even a bad word to somebody. Such respect, such love. It's a new world, it's a new age, it's a new race that has to come. Such help. If something happens to somebody in Kuala Lumpur, the whole of the world will try to help. All the people will try to help. It's such a one understanding that we are parts and parcel of the whole. Then who is the other? Everything belongs to you. It's a great feeling. You expand. And you'll be amazed once you get your realization, once you become Sahaja Yogis. All over the world, you will find your brothers and sisters. All over. You are not small. You are not just for your family, your house, no. But you must expand. And this expansion comes when you have the light of the Spirit. You don't have to pay or you don't have to do anything. Just to feel oneness is very beautiful. Now the another quality of Spirit is that it is the source of absolute truth. If they put hand source like that and ask questions for anybody, immediately they know. Immediately. What's wrong with that person? Say you take 10 children, tie up their eyes. They're real eye souls. You ask them what's wrong with this person, they will all show the same finger. Supposing they show this finger means he's something wrong with his heart. And you ask the person, what's the matter with your heart? You say, how do you know? You don't have to go for diagnosis, you don't have to do anything. You can diagnose yourself and you can diagnose other people. It sounds very fantastic. But we are fantastic. Like if you have a television and you take to a remotest corner of a jungle and tell people that you can see here pictures and everything, they'll say, what? This is just a box. How can you see? But once you put it to the mains, it starts working. And it is so fantastic that these ignorant people are also amazed how it is working. In the same way it works. So we have to know our own value. We have to know what we are. The greatest thing that happens that we jump in the ocean of joy. Joy is not like happiness and unhappiness. If your ego is pampered, you feel happy. If it is punctured, you feel unhappy. It's not like that. Joy is a feeling which is unique. And you are just joyous. Enjoy within yourself. You have come here to enjoy, not to weep and cry and beat yourself. No. It's the wrong idea. God, who has created us, is a very sensible person, isn't he? Why will he create us to be unhappy? But we, in our ignorance and stupidity, try to make everyone unhappy. So this is the time, special time, I call it the blossom time, where there are many seekers and who get self-realization. I was really amazed. Of course, in India it's growing very fast, no doubt. But in Russia, we have to always take a stadium where at least 18,000 people could be seated. And it is spreading so fast all over. It's like one light which is enlightens another light. Now that light which is enlightens another. I am surprised to see so many Saj Yogis in this country because we started with 2 or 3 to begin with. And suddenly it has now become so big. You don't have to pay, you don't have to worry. You don't have to read also much about it. Because by reading also one people get conditioned, Same Kabira has said by reading too much people have become stupid. I met many like that. You talk to them, they'll tell you, did you read this book? You read yourself. Why do you want me to read all these books? It is spreading all over and it should spread here also. And as it is, you are very great seekers, I know that. And that you have come here all the way. I am sure it will work out for you. But for that, you must have self-confidence. You must have self-confidence, very important. Another thing, I confess, I cannot force it on you because I respect your freedom. Absolutely. It will take hardly 15 minutes. But one thing, nobody should leave the hall when we are working it out. If they want, they can go now. But when people are working it out, they should not disturb others. Whether you sit away or near me, you all will get your self-realization. It doesn't matter where you are sitting. The children can come in front. Let the children come in front. Or if some people want to come in front, they can come also. Now, I have to tell you that there are 3 conditions which are very simple. One of them is that this all-pervading power is the ocean of forgiveness. So you have to forgive yourself. That means you should not feel guilty. On the contrary, you should be very pleasantly placed towards yourself. You might have done some mistakes in the past. Forget the past. What's the use of harping on it now? But if you feel guilty, then you catch on this center here on the left-hand side, which is very dangerous. This gives you a disease called angina, a kind of a heart trouble. Also, it gives you spondylitis. Also, it can make your system of your organs very weak. Also, you can get cervical cancer. It's a very dangerous thing. So why should we worry about the mistake we have committed? Finished now. If you were really guilty, you would have been in jail, you would not have been here. So be pleasantly placed towards yourself. Now, the second condition is that we have to forgive everyone without even thinking about them. Whether you forgive or don't forgive, you don't do anything. But when you don't forgive, then you play into wrong hands. And you torture yourself, while those who have troubled you are happy. But at this moment, very important thing is the center on the optic chiasma is like this, absolutely constricted. And if you don't forgive, it won't open. And how will the Kundalini pass through? So only thing you have to do is to forgive by saying, it's a mantra you can call it, that I forgive everyone in general. Don't even think about it because it's a headache. Third one is very simple, is that you have to take out your shoes. Because in England, first time when I told them take out your shoes, half of them walked off. That's why I'm requesting. As you know, there are 2 powers, left and right, and the central path of ascent. So the left side and right side being 2 opposite powers, one for desire and one for action, we have to keep our both feet apart. Those who are sitting on the ground are all right. Those who are sitting on the chair, Please put your both the feet apart from each other. That's all. Now when we'll close our eyes, when I'll tell you, you can take out your glasses. When I tell you, not just now, not just now. Just now I will ask somebody to show you. Come along. Anybody, you can come. To show you how we will be nourishing, you will be nourishing your own centers. So first we put the left hand on our left side lap, very comfortably. You will get it very comfortably. I told you don't have to go to Himalayas or anything, here you will get it. So now put your left hand on your left lap comfortably. This symbolizes one thing, that you are desirous of getting self-realization, Atma Sakshatkar. This is to express your desire. Now, Kundalini is a pure desire, while other desires are not pure. Because today we want to have, say, a house, then we want to have a car, then we want to have a helicopter. I mean, it goes on and on. We are never satisfied. It's an economic law. In general, wants are not satiable. That means they are not pure, that's right. This is the pure desire. You may be aware or not, but it is a desire to be one with this divine power. So, you put your left hand, which is meant for the mundane desire, left side is mundane desire, by which you should desire to have your self-realization. And with the right hand, we'll be nourishing our centers on the left hand side. So we put our right hand on our heart. In the heart resides your spirit. It is a reflection of God Almighty. While Kundalini is the reflection of the primordial feminine power. No. So you put your right hand on your heart, where resides the spirit. Now if you become the spirit, then in the light of the spirit you guide yourself, you become your own master. So we take down our hand in the upper portion of our abdomen on the left hand side, which is the center of your mastery. Surprisingly, the center of pure divine knowledge is in the lower portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. So then we raise our right hand in the upper portion of our abdomen. Then on your heart. Then in the corner of neck and shoulder, and turn our head to your right. This is the center which is in jeopardy when you feel guilty. Now, please take your right hand on top of your forehead and put down your head as far as possible. This is the center where you have to forgive everyone. Please put down your heads. Forgive everyone. Now, please take your right hand on the back side of your head and push back your head. Here you have to ask forgiveness for your own satisfaction without feeling guilty, without counting your mistakes from all-pervading divine power. Now, please stretch your palm fully, like this. Now put the center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, the talavam, which was a soft bone in your childhood. Through this bone, the Kundalini emerges out. Now please put down your head as far as possible. Now, important thing is to press back your fingers nicely, so there's a good pressure on your scalp. Now please move your scalp 7 times clockwise slowly. Push back your fingers, push back your fingers. Put down your head. Please put down your head, then you'll do it better. Please put down your head. Now, move it 7 times slowly. This is called as Brahmarandra in Sanskrit language. Now, that's all we have to do. Now again see to it that you put your both the feet apart from each other. Put your left hand on your left lap and take out your spectacles now. You will have to now close your eyes, not tightly but slightly as you sleep, and please don't open them till I tell you. Now take the right hand on your heart. Please keep your eyes shut. Now here, you have to ask a very fundamental question about yourself. You may call me Mother or Shri Mataji, whatever you like. In your heart, you have to ask 3 times. Mother, am I the pure spirit? Ask this question 3 times. I have told you that when you become the spirit, in the light of the spirit, you become your own guide, your own master. So now please take your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen and press it hard. Here you have to ask another fundamental question about yourself. Mother, am I my own master? Ask this question 3 times. Mother, am I my own master? I have already told you that I respect your freedom and I cannot force the pure divine knowledge on you. You have to ask for it. So please take your right hand in the lower portion of your abdomen on the left hand side, and here you have to ask 6 times because this center has got 6 petals. Mother, please give me pure divine knowledge. Ask this 6 times. Now, as soon as you ask for the pure divine knowledge, the Kundalini starts rising. So we have to nourish our higher centers with our full self-confidence. So raise your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. Here, with full self-confidence, you have to say, full self-confidence, Mother, I am my own master 10 times. Mother, I am my own master 10 times. I have already told you that you are not this body, this mind, this intelligence, these emotions, this ego, these conditionings, but you are the pure spirit. So now raise your right hand on your heart. And here you have to say, again, with full self-confidence, 12 times, Mother, I am the pure spirit. Please say it 12 times. I have told you this all-pervading power is the ocean of knowledge, ocean of bliss, ocean of compassion, but above all, it is the ocean of forgiveness. And whatever mistakes you might commit, all can be dissolved into this ocean of forgiveness. So forgive yourself and put your right hand in the corner of left shoulder and left neck. Press it hard and put your head to the right. Here you have to say with full confidence 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty at all. 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Please put your head to your right. Turn your head to your right, please. I have already told you whether you forgive or you don't forgive, you don't do anything. But if you don't forgive, then you play into wrong hands. And at this moment, if you don't forgive, this center won't open. And you won't be able to get your self-realization. So it's very important at this time for you to forgive everyone in general, not to think about it. So now please put your right hand on top of your forehead across and please put down your head. And here not how many times, but from your heart you have to say, Mother, I forgive everyone in general. Please put down your head, that's very important. Now, without feeling guilty, without counting your mistakes, just for your satisfaction, you have to ask forgiveness from the all-pervading divine power. So now please put your right hand on the back side of your head and push back your head. Push back. Here you have to say again from your heart, not how many times. O divine power, if I have done mistake, knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me. Now, stretch your hand, the palm fully, and put the center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, which was the soft bone in your childhood. All right. Now, again, please put down your head. And you have to stretch back your fingers. Here again, I cannot force self-realization on you. So now move your scalp slowly 7 times, saying 7 times, Mother, please give me my self-knowledge, self-realization, whatever you want to say. Please say it 7 times. Move your scalp, please. Not the hand, but the scalp, because you push back your fingers, otherwise it won't push back your fingers. Push back your fingers means outward. Push back outward. Now, please take down your hands and open your eyes slowly. You can wear your glasses. Now, please put both the hands towards me like this. Some of you are already feeling the cool breeze, but don't doubt. This is the cool breeze of the all-pervading divine love. All right, let's see. Now put your right hand towards me like this. Right. And put down your head and see for yourself if from the fontanelle bone area you are getting any cool or hot breeze-like vibrations. Just put down your head and see first. Sometimes people get it close, sometimes nearer. Now it's coming out of your head, don't doubt. It's coming out of your head. All right, now put the left hand towards me. Now with the right hand, please see if there's a cool or a hot breeze-like vibrations are coming out. Put down your head. But one thing is that if you have not forgiven yourself or not forgiven others, it will be hot. So please try to forgive now. Now some people get it very close, some get it far away. So move your hand and see for yourself. Now, please put your right hand towards me again. And with the left hand again, you see on top of your head, if you are getting any cool or a hot breeze-like thing on your hands, on your palm. All right. Now, please put both the hands towards the sky like this and push back your head. Here again, you have to ask one of the 3 questions I tell you. One question is, Mother, is this the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost as described in the Bible? This you can ask 3 times. Otherwise you can ask, Mother, is this the all-pervading power of divine love, that is Ruh, as described in Quran? Or you can ask, Mother, is this the Parama Chaitanya as described in Indian scriptures? Is this the Parama Chaitanya? Ask any one of these questions 3 times. Now come down. Sorry. Now please put both hands towards me like this. And watch me without thinking. You can do it. Now all those who have felt cool or hot breeze on their fingertips or on their palm or out of their fontanelle bone area, please raise both your hands. I bow to you. The whole of Kuala Lumpur has got it. I bow to you. Your saintly life has started, but you must value it. You must grow. For that we have a center here, centers everywhere. Please attend. You don't have to pay again and again, I'm telling you. But respect yourself, Rajesh. You have to become like trees now. I hope all of you will take care and look after yourself, Rajesh. Thank you very much. Now enjoy yourself and enjoy everyone. I'll come next year again.